Hello, my name is Lisa Shea, and I have been writing about wine since before the year 2000, so I've been in the wine industry for over 25 years. And the topic I would like to talk about today is the topic of tremors, shaky hands, all of the different things that are related to this, because it is a topic that causes all sorts of issues in the wine industry and for anyone drinking wine and for people who are related to people who like to drink wine. So there are three related types of shakiness that I'd like to discuss. One of them is what I have, which is essential tremors. This is a genetic issue. My father had it. It caused serious problems for him as he got older. It is something that is not deadly in the sense of the way that some of the other shaky hand kind of issues are, but it is very frustrating because when you try to pick up things, you are very shaky. I've had to switch from stemmed wine glasses, which are better for the wine because you hold them. Let's see if I can even do this. You hold them from the stem so that you're not touching the wine and affecting it. And when I was a younger wine drinker, they would always say, don't touch the wine glass, hold it by the stem, which is certainly fine if your hands aren't shaky. But once your hands get to the shaky stage, it just becomes not possible. And especially when I was at parties that had champagne flutes, I had all sorts of trouble and would have to hold it with two hands and stuff. I have switched to the stemless wine glass, and this is much easier for me to hold and has less of a shaky problem, but it is still a bit shaky, so I have to be very careful about how when I'm moving wine around and so on. So essential tremors is genetic. It is something that you generally inherit, but it does not tend to cause the eating kinds of problems that Parkinson's does. Parkinson's is also a shaky kind of issue, but with Parkinson's, your shakiness gets worse to the point that you have trouble swallowing, you have trouble eating, you have trouble breathing, so it's a much more dangerous disease, and hopefully they find ways to solve both of these, because with essential tremors, which is mine, there's about 10 million people in the world that have it, about 5% of the population. With Parkinson's, it's only slightly less, it's 8.5 million people, but those people have a much harder road in general because of the way that it degenerates. And then the third issue, which is how this gets involved with wine more than just holding a wine glass, is called Delirium Tremens, which is DTs. And this is the one that people joke about, which, I shouldn't laugh. This makes me upset. But people joke about all sorts of things, I suppose. Delirium Tremens is a extremely serious problem when you are trying to withdraw when you're an alcoholic. So if someone drinks very heavily, day after day after day, once they do that for a month or more, their body is addicted to the alcohol in a, I know people tend to make fun of addictions for whatever reason, but it's a actual physical connection your body has to it. And if you were to then stop cold turkey and not have alcohol, you tend to be okay for 2 to 3 days, and then your body can go into a very hard withdrawal problem where you hit DTs or other kinds of things. You can have seizures, your heart can go into irregular heartbeats, you can have hallucinations, and up to 40% of people will die if they don't get treatment to try to mitigate this. So it's not like a funny thing, and it's not something that happens just to people who drink alcohol when they haven't had it for 2 hours or something like that. It's something when your body goes into a shutdown because it hasn't had it for a couple of days and it has been so used to having it that it can't function at all without it. So, alcoholism is serious. DTs are even more serious, and it can kill you if you have that. So, part of why I'm talking about this is clearly I have essential tremors. My hands are shaky. And like I said, I've been writing about wine since before 2000. In July 2018, I decided to start making some wine videos because I have people asking me all the time, how do you open bottles of wine with a travel corkscrew and so on? And I said, well, this would be great. I could do some videos where I'm showing how to do these different kinds of things, how to use a foil cutter. And in July 2018, I made 8 videos. And I was starting simple, how to use a foil cutter, how to use a corkscrew, this kind of stuff. And I started getting all sorts of we'll say snarky, misguided comments saying, oh, you must be an alcoholic because you have tremors, and as if like I had been an alcoholic and then stopped drinking and now was choosing to start YouTube videos right when I was going through a deadly reaction to having stopped drinking alcohol. And I stopped making videos. because I just didn't want to have this be the kind of thing that I was promoting on YouTube with people having those kinds of thoughts. And I made one video in 2021 about winemaking, but it's still just seeing those old comments upset me. So what I have decided, now that it's 2024, I decided that I had to just tackle this, because it doesn't help if I have a platform and I avoid talking about the topic, and that there's people out there who are misinformed about how all this works. I figured it'd be much better if I made a video discussing the topic and showing that I have shaky hands, and talking about how this involves alcohol or doesn't involve alcohol, so that people out there, I mean, like I said, 5% of the population has essential tremors. And if these people are going around and trying to enjoy a glass of wine and then having people harass them thinking that they're alcoholics who are going through a serious deadly withdrawal thing, that's not good for anybody, you know. And I'll also comment that if you have Parkinson's, one of the things that they give you to try to minimize the tremors is called a, let's see if I can even pronounce this, dopaminergic drug. I think it means it has dopamine involved in it. So that's the kind of treatment that will help a Parkinson's person, and I have several friends with Parkinson's, and it's not fun, helps them be less shaky. But with essential tremors, one of the ways that you can make the tremors be less shaky is with alcohol. Now this gets into the whole, you have to be careful and take everything in moderation so that you don't make it worse by heading into alcoholism, which is an extremely serious problem, and I never want to make it seem like that is just a casual kind of solution. But if you're open to drinking a glass of wine every night and you have essential tremors, it will ease the essential tremors, which then makes eating and all sorts of other things so much easier. Because like if I have to eat things with this spoon all the time because things fall off of forks, maybe I could actually use a fork if I'm going out to a fine dining restaurant and want to eat things with a fork, or cut things with a knife, all sorts of things. So if you are open to having a glass of wine each night in a moderated way, and it helps your essential tremors, I really consider that a win-win, because there's other health benefits from wine. And I wouldn't want those people, if they decide to want to go to a wine tasting or visit a winery or whatever they're doing, to then be harassed or ridiculed by people for having shaky hands, which is completely out of your control. I did not ask to get this genetic gift from my father, and he did not ask to get it from his parents, and so on. We are all just victims of the genetic lottery, and that is the way life goes. And I'm grateful that I have many other problems that I did not inherit, that I was just able to get the shaky hands, and if that's what I have to deal with, then I do, I will deal with it, and that's fine. But there shouldn't be people out there harassing people with shaky hands, claiming that they have DTs and that they're going through this life-threatening alcoholism withdrawal, when it's a completely different problem. And I mean, they shouldn't be harassing people thinking they have DTs either. So I mean, all of it is wrong. So I suppose my message is that I probably won't be doing any up-close kinds of videos, just because I do not want to deal with any of that anymore. But I did want to make a statement about what causes shaky hands, and these are just a couple of the things that can cause it, but these are three of the most common ones, and that it is probably not at all related to DTs. It is probably either essential tremors or Parkinson's, both of which have different ways to treat them. And if you do have shaky hands, I definitely recommend do not, let's see, we can try this again, do not restrict yourself to stemmed wine glasses, because these are just a royal pain for us shaky hands people to deal with. Look into getting the stemless wine glasses, and if you have to hold it with your hand and it makes the wine a slightly bit warmer, then that's fine. I've got to the point where I just don't care. It is fine if it gets a smidgen warmer, because my fingers are on this thing and I'm able to hold it without it shaking. We all make sacrifices in life, and that is very low on my list of things that I'm going to care about. So I'm going to start making videos again. I'm going to do the best I can with my shaky hands, and if people comment on my shaky hands again, I now am going to direct them at this video here so that they can read my message and know what's going on, and hopefully stop commenting on videos of people with shaky hands and making them feel as if they've got some sort of an issue that they should fix because it's a moral feeling. Let me know if you have any questions or comments on this, and I will hopefully start making some more fresh videos going forward.